Hello, my name is Jack, and today we'll be looking at another terrible situation. Residents of the small Spanish hamlet of Poblado Caramano rushing to work on August 22, 2016, discovered flyers pasted everywhere. Volunteers had feverishly plastered them all throughout the city. The flyers depicted a young 18-year-old Diana Maria Kwer Lopez-Pinal. The young lady was about 6 feet tall and of weak form. Her dark hair, chocolate eyes, and delicate features made her enticing. She was dressed in pink shorts, a t-shirt, a white hoodie, and black sneakers the night before she vanished. According to the description, the girl went home the night before and mysteriously vanished. Since last night, her family, volunteers, and special services have been anxiously and persistently searching for the missing kid in every manner possible. They've searched every street and corner in the hopes of finding Diana and bringing her home. Juan Carlos Diana's father was in Madrid at the time, but he wasted no time in contacting the police to trace the calls from his daughter's phone and determine its last whereabouts. He also called the local papers and asked citizens for assistance in the search. If you have any information, no matter how insignificant, please contact the authorities. The police need your assistance. Diana's father said that Diana's mother, who was on the point of depression, begged the public for help. We're doing everything we can to find Diana, but we're still waiting for answers. If you have any information, please share it. Please assist us. We are in a scenario where even the smallest rumor can become significant and assist us in locating our daughter. Diana Maria Kwer Lopez-Pinal was born in Madrid on August 12, 1998. She had a sister named Valeria and was the daughter of Diana Cristina Lopez, Pinal Pinarejo, and Juan Carlo Kwer. The family was incredibly affluent and quite close. Diana's parents divorced in 2013, which had a significant impact on the sisters. They struggled with depression and were frequently in odds with their mother, who provided the majority of their care. Despite this, the father saw his daughters on a regular basis. Diana and her mother and sister frequently visited the small town of a Poblado Academy, now on the seashore, with a population of roughly 10,000 during their vacations. Diana's family spent their summer holidays in the quaint hamlet of Cobra de Carmi. How every summer they went here to appreciate the tranquility and beauty of the location. The 21st of August promised to be just like any other day. Diana went up to her mother around 10 p.m. and told her that she was going to Volley England Park to meet her friends and have fun in honor of the Feast of the Virgin Carmen Volley. Diana frequented England Park, which was close to the cottage where the family was staying. Her mother, seeing nothing unusual in it, permitted her to return. That evening, the girl had a good time with her pals. Diana said goodbye to her friends 4 hours later and was about to head home, not thinking that this would be their final goodbye. On the way, she ran into her friend Paseo de Ariel, which was not far from the pizza Diana frequented. It was almost 2:30 a.m. when they bid their goodbyes. On that dark night, Paseo de Ariel was the last person to see Diana. At 8:30 a.m. on August 22, 2016, Diana's mother, Maria Kwer Lopez and all, experienced a nightmare. She knew something was wrong with her daughter the next morning. The girl had not returned home from a party. Her phone was either turned off or out of range, which raised concern. The mother did not hesitate and quickly reported her daughter missing to the police. According to the mother's information, Diane did not appear to have any major emotional or mental health difficulties, despite having had a difficult childhood as a result of her parents' divorce. Her extended absence was unusual and caused considerable worries. Police began to piece together the jumble of inexplicable events surrounding the disappearance of Maria Kwer Lopez-Pinal, and detectives needed to figure out what happened when Diana vanished without a trace. Diana's last texts were discovered to have been made via WhatsApp to a friend of hers in Madrid. She wrote about a stranger who was stalking her and scared her with weird statements. Diana's only interaction with the outside world was through these texts, which she no longer responded to. Despite the fact that they were read, the next day, the cops began retracing Diana's steps back to her house. They discovered a black hairband beside the road that resembled the one Diana had been wearing that night. It was the sole object discovered at the location of the disappearance. Aside from it, investigators had no other evidence. Diana's acquaintances were unable to provide any useful information, and the final length of Diana's journey was not monitored by CCTV cameras. The street was dimly lit and hardly populated, with only a few garages and a run-down Boomerang nightclub along it. Witnesses claimed to have seen Diana exit a car with 3 men inside. She allegedly got into another car and drove away from the port. These testimonies, however, were not corroborated. Investigators explored 2 major theories about what transpired. The first suggested that Diana was taken by someone she knew. The second story connected the disappearance to a suspected crazy attack. Diana's mother even proposed a third scenario in which her daughter was abducted on a boat. Diana's ex-boyfriend said that she met a Moroccan man and purchased hashish with him. However, this information simply added to the mystery surrounding the disappearance. Another significant element was the media coverage of the finding of the clothes Diana wore that evening. Diana's mother, on the other hand, refuted this information, claiming that no clothing were discovered. Diana couldn't just run away, leaving all her possessions and paperwork behind, because her credit card and identification were left in the house. This information, along with other facts, proved that the girl's absence was not of her own volition. Nonetheless, the case remained a mystery that could not be solved. The news reported on the dispute that broke out between Diana and her mother just a few days before the fatal occurrence, shortly after Diana's abduction. According to the media, Diana had a psychological breakdown that necessitated medical attention, and her younger sister Valeria was also hospitalized with the same symptoms. On Thursday, September 1, custody rights for the younger sister were handed to the father in order to avoid further litigation and controversy. This was a precautionary measure to avoid more turmoil in the surrounding community, which was already tense due to Diana's absence. When the father and his daughter left town, speculations grew that the family was hiding something significant. According to Diana's friends, the sisters running away from home was typical, especially for her younger sister Valeria, who was only 16 years old. Family connections were difficult, and squabbles between mother and daughters were not unusual. When this knowledge became public, the question quickly emerged. Why was Diana's mother so concerned when she did not come home on Wednesday, August 31, if the girl had previously frequently left house on that day? Diana's parents failed to appear for a scheduled press conference, where they were expected to provide details about the inquiry. According to the family lawyer, the parents were devastated by the prospect of never seeing their daughter again. In September 2011, the newspaper El Mundo released an article that shed light on other parts of the family's lives. It stated that Diana's mother's statements that she did not have mental difficulties were refuted by evidence about her disappearance in April. Diane had gone home for 3 days at the time, and her mother had not contacted police. To annoy her mother, the girl would turn off her phone and declare that she no longer wanted to live with her. Diana and Valeria's letters to one other were also published in the press. It was evident from them that both sisters were dealing with major emotional issues. Valeria has even been hospitalized many times in the last year, even having her stomach pumped owing to a prescription drug overdose. Prosecutors have opened an investigation into Valeria Lopez Pinello, the Lopez Pinello family's youngest daughter, in the absence of progress in the investigation into Diana's disappearance. The inquiry into Diana Kwer's disappearance remained intensive and fast-paced. A toothbrush, comb, a laptop computer, her diary, and several prescription medicines were among the items collected by forensic investigators. These items were thoroughly investigated. Investigators then began questioning Diana's friends, including a young Moroccan guy with whom she briefly had an affair. All of these safeguards were ineffective, and additional police searches were futile. The police undertook extensive searches in the surrounding mountains, forests, rivers, and lakes. Diana, on the other hand, seemed to have vanished around 3 a.m., and the last signal from her phone was discovered 13 miles from where the family was staying. Diana Kwer's case remained unsolved 72 days after her abduction. None of the investigators' leads have been substantiated as of yet. Along with the hairband, authorities discovered a cell phone that matched the description of Diana's phone. Her father confirmed that the phone was his daughter's. Diana's Facebook profile was abruptly activated 2 months after her disappearance, and friends and relatives quickly alerted the police and provided screenshots. It was discovered that the Remember Password function was utilized to avoid inputting profile login information. This left 2 possibilities. Diana had either forgotten her password or the attacker was attempting to obtain access to her profile. Diana's phone was an important piece of evidence in the investigation, but it never revealed anything about her inexplicable disappearance. The driver of the car in which Diana was supposedly last seen was eventually identified on November 10, 2016. The man had previously been arrested on suspicion of human trafficking. For a long time, information about his role in Diana's disappearance was kept secret in order not to jeopardize the investigation. His wife stated he was with her that night, removing him from the suspect list. However, on December 25, 2017, an incident referred to as a read became a focal focus in the investigation. A man assaulted one of the girls, demanding her phone and threatening her with a weapon. The horrified victim yelled, and a passing couple rushed to her rescue. They saved the child from a thug who was attempting to drag her into a car. The scared victim immediately called police and gave them a description of the perpetrator as well as his license plate number. The following morning, police detained 41-year-old Jose Enrique, also known as El Chico, on suspicion of being gay. He already had a criminal record. The police quickly discovered Jose Enrique was the same driver imprisoned in 2016 on suspicion of kidnapping Diana Kwer. However, he was later released because they believed his wife's alibi. The man and his wife were questioned once more by police. As a result of the questioning, the wife acknowledged to lying previously. In fact, on the night Diana vanished, her husband left the house and did not return until 4 a.m. Jose Enrique was eventually compelled to explain that he had inadvertently hit Diana on the road and had been too terrified to report to the police. That is why he made the decision to dispose of the body. However, he later modified his story, confessed to kidnapping and murdering Diana. He came to the beach, he said, to collect gasoline from abandoned cars. And it was there that he saw Diana. He kidnapped her, forced her to have sexual relations with him, and then strangled her. This startling revelation added new clues to the case and indicated Diana Kwer's disappearance was the result of a heinous crime. Diana Kwer Lopez Panel's disappearance was a long and painful journey for her family and everyone who followed the case. Nearly 500 days of investigation and incessant media conjecture only added to her loved one's anguish. The allegations leveled against Diana's parents merely served to confuse and obstruct the investigation. Despite this, authorities were able to discover the offender thanks to relentless investigation and the testimony of a second victim. Diana's close ones will remember her as a bright and vibrant young woman who was unfortunate enough to be in the path of a vicious criminal. Her experience serves as a reminder of how critical it is to band together in the face of adversity in order to abolish impunity and protect the safety of all individuals. Unfortunately, the offender did not reveal where he concealed Diana's body for a long time, but eventually, family and friends were able to say farewell to Diana and give her a decent burial. The body was discovered in an abandoned warehouse as well. In January of this year, Joe's received a life sentence with the chance of release after serving 35 years. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Join the channel's mailing list. There will be numerous disturbing stories ahead of you. See you later.